Do you know how annoying it is to do the same repetitive shit over and over and over again? Do you know how annoying it is to do the same repetitive shit over and over and over again? Do you know how annoying it is to do the same repetitive shit over and over again? Do you know how annoying it is to do the same repetitive shit over and over and over again? Do you know how annoying it is to do the same repetitive shit over and over again? Yes, I just said that shit 5 times in a row, and that's only a quarter of what Destiny gave us when it comes to the amount of repetitive shit this game has. That alone should prove the point of how awful this campaign and mission setup was. Oh, this fucking game, man. Now, as I detailed in the prior video, the story doesn't exist. There's none. What Bungie gave us can't even be classified as a story. What Bungie gave us can't even be classified as a story. What Bungie gave us can't even be classified as a story. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's more like a sequence of missions that make reference to a story. So without a story, you would hope to fuck the missions are pretty decent, right? I mean, it's one thing to strike out on a bad story with a cheesy plot, but at least let the missions be entertaining, man. Nope, much like the story, the missions themselves are half-assed. The missions themselves are half-assed. The missions themselves are half-assed. These fucking missions are half-assed. Bungie, are you getting the point right now? We got 20 story missions in the game. 18 of them are pretty much identical with 2 exceptions. The beginning mission in the game and the Sword of Crota mission. The other 18 items are horribly and utterly repetitive and identical. It's fucking embarrassing. And I can't imagine a company like Bungie was willing to put their name on such an empty, stale piece of shit. The strike missions were pretty much the same damn thing as well. Each one of them has you killing 3 waves of something like mini bosses or whatever the fuck before heading into a bullet sponging boss. If Dinklefuck scans something, you're gonna face 3 waves of increasingly harder enemies. If he does the scan something, then you're gonna fight off like 3 mini bosses or some stupid shit like that. In the case of the Dust Palace, the PlayStation exclusive mission, you get the only unique boss fight of the 6 strike missions, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. The patrol missions and the public events have a bit of variety, but it's the same 6 or 7 type of missions over and over and over again. It's actually not terrible, but when you do the patrols long enough, you know where you're going to be and what missions are probably going to occur. When I'm on the Divide on Earth and I see a VIP kill mission, I know there is only one place that mission can occur. It may be a different boss, but it's all in the same place. While the public events and patrols are somewhat repetitive, it's nowhere near as bad as the campaign. So at least that's not as bad as the fucking campaign in this goddamn game. The game needs variety. And sadly, this is the easiest fix of all the problems the game has. And for those interested in paying for some overpriced rip-off DLC, some changes are coming. It seems Bungie listened to players and critics and will bring some variety to the DLC, which it badly needs. So some help is coming, some relief is coming. However, you still have to pay for that shit. It's a fucked up way of adding additional content. You basically sell us a $60 repetitive piece of shit, then tell us that the $20 extra is gonna go towards the fun shit that we've been asking for since the beginning. But even within this game, there are things that show that they can do more when it comes to the variety of content. The Vault of Glass was excellent, and it had a bunch of mechanics that they could actually expand upon. There are vehicles, albeit these are useless vehicles, but we have vehicles, and honestly, I know people are going to argue over these vehicle missions, such as the Moon, the Mars, the 2 strike missions and shit like that, but the sad shit is, the vehicles are much slower than shooting shit with a gun. Case in point, the interceptors during the Cerberus Vibe mission. I can do that mission quicker without an interceptor. Shit, I can do it about 3 times faster without an interceptor. I can snipe motherfuckers in the head from a distance. I can snipe the tank from a distance without ever getting shot or put in harm's way. So why bother with the interceptor when it's just going to slow me down? The pikes during the Winter's Run mission can also be skipped. Shit, we don't even bother with that crap anymore. We just get on our Sparrow, since it's a faster machine, and we drive off and ignore all the enemies in our way. But besides the lack of variety, Destiny does have some elements that they can expand upon, as well as some new ideas that I have that they can certainly implement. Now, the unfortunate issue is that the current missions that we have, they're not getting fixed. Nothing will change the current missions, so it's not like they're going to go back and update some of the more monotonous shit that we've done in the game. We just have to accept that. However, there are plenty of items they can do in the future, and the best part is, the majority of the shit is not completely original or unique. It's mainly things other games have done, or things that Destiny has done in different parts of the game in minor forms that they can actually expand upon. Let's start with a simple idea. Why did we never team up with the stranger? I mean, think about it. Isn't that like the perfect NPC level where you could possibly form a fire team and have the stranger join you as part of your fire team against some enemies? Either you need to protect her from dying, or she's invincible and she helps you along with the mission, whatever the fuck. Either way, it's not something we haven't seen in other games before where the computer AI actually helps you out. But let's give this motherfucker a purpose. And maybe, just maybe during that mission, she will have time to explain why she didn't have time to explain before. Fucking useless robotic cunts. But plenty of games have added NPC characters to missions with various objectives, so adding her to the mix alone adds something that other than having Dinklefuck scan something and having you shoot enemies. Yes, other games have done that idea before, but it hasn't been done in Destiny. It's a bit of variety, and it's a little bit different than the same 18 fucking missions we already had. Stealth! Remember back when the game was first released and Bungie mentioned there would be stealth parts in the game? Yeah, one of the many things Destiny didn't deliver on. But when you think about the Vault of Glass and the Gorgon Maze, you basically have to sneak around. So why not expand upon that and have a mission where you need to sneak around in order to pass the mission? Look, not every level needs to be a shooting level in order to be a first-person shooter. You can have elements of stealth. You can have elements where characters need to get past the enemies without being detected. Now granted, that doesn't fall in line with how badass your Guardian acts on all other missions. You know, 200 Vex are falling in a room and your character runs in all Leroy Jenkins, throws out an ass whooping like an NFL player beating their wife. Oh man, that's so wrong, but you know it's fucking true. Who knows? Maybe even Dinkle Bitch will be out of commission or something, requiring you to be a little bit more careful. Maybe your guns won't work during the mission, or you lose your weapons and you have to melee shit. There are other ways of creating levels that involve more than just shooting. A puzzle, a maze, a level in complete darkness, which brings you back to the days of survival horror games. We had that subway level here in the game where you needed to navigate through the dark corridors. So you could, in theory, do that here as well and expand upon that. It's already been done in the game, so only do it better. Have a Vex or Hive jump out at you in the dark or whatever the fuck. Similar to what people thought was going to happen in the very first level of the game when you went through the wall. You remember that shit? It looked like the Fallen were gonna jump out and scare you out of the middle of nowhere because you couldn't see anything because it was dark. And we got what? Maybe one boo moment out of that entire shit? Come on, man. They could have done so much more with that opening level, but they could also take that idea and apply it to future levels to add some variety to the actual gameplay. Patrols and public events, they could also use a little bit of love. For example, we have sparrows at any given time, right? How about missions with some sort of sparrow racing across the map to the other side for some reason? Why not get a mission in the Forgotten Shore, yet you need to get to the steps in less than 30 seconds? Or a target is at another location and now you have a timer on how long it takes you to get there and kill the motherfucker. Or a mission requiring 2 or 3 objectives in one time, sort of like a timer to do something or killing multiple enemies, whatever the fuck. You have plenty of other ideas besides go here, kill this guy, wait here, kill these motherfuckers. You know, right now the best public event we have is the Vex Sacrifice mission, where you need to play a bit of tower defense in order to stop the Vex from getting to your tower. Essentially, it's a 4-minute kill mission that requires teamwork. Absolutely requires teamwork. It is almost impossible to do the Vex Sacrifice mission alone. It is damn near hard. By the time you get to the end, you get all those enemies that come out and try and kill your ass. Again, expand upon that idea, add that to other places. The War Sat could be similar if we needed to prevent enemies from actually reaching it or damaging it. Think about it. The War Sat is already on 3 different planets, with the exception of Venus. It's on Mars, the Moon, and Earth. You can have that become like a Vex Sacrifice mission where you need to actually protect it. How about a mission that actually splits the difference between these ideas? Instead of sacrificing like the Vex do, how about a public event where you need to defend an object from enemy damage? The less damage it takes, you get a gold. The more damage it takes, silver, bronze come into play. So in other words, you have a tower or some kind of defense mechanism where you have to protect from the Cabal, the Hive, or the Fallen, whatever the fuck. And what they want to do is they want to damage it. And the countdown isn't just a timer, it's also a damage meter that shows you how much health the object has that you're trying to protect. See, there's another type of public event or patrol mission that you could easily do and easily add to the game because it adds just a touch more variety. Now, will that change the whole scope of the game? Not entirely, but again, it adds just a touch more variety to the game that we don't have right now. Could you throw this into the campaign as well? Absolutely. Could you throw this into the stupid ass strike missions that we have? Absolutely. There is plenty of room to improve upon what we already have with some of the new ideas or old ideas that other games have done that you can take and make your own. Now, the best part of Destiny was the Vault of Glass. Easily. It was by far the most challenging and the best part of needing 6 people in a group to beat the challenge. Now granted, you could do it with less people. There are videos of 2 guys running the raid on their own, on hard no less, but it's the only environment portion of the game that allows for 6 people. And all the fun elements of Destiny are in the Vault of Glass. Well, except that shit that takes too fucking long with that Conflux and Oracle crap. Oh god, that shit takes forever. But anyway, with the Dark Below coming, we're getting another raid against Croden. So hopefully, we're going to be getting some new and improved mechanics that are being introduced. But the pieces of the current raid involve teamwork. So when it comes to a number of elements the game offered, because Bungie wanted people to still play the shit solo, they had to restrict some team elements of all the other parts of the game. When it comes to the raid, teamwork is a necessity. And in all honesty, the team play elements should return to the game in other forms, such as cleansing or splitting groups into parts to do certain objectives. And that leads me to probably the best game idea I could think of. The one thing that I would love to see is a raid against the Cabal. Right now we have a raid against the Vex. We're going to get a Hive raid, and you have to assume the Reef raid is going to be one against the Fallen, considering it's called the House of Wolves or whatever the fuck. So the odd enemy out right now is the Cabal. However, I have the perfect mission. During their intro, when we first arrived on Mars, they said they had the power to blow up planets, right? Well, how about the raid is to stop them from blowing up Mars now that they finish mining the planet for all the resources. Your whole raid is set to a timer, 1 hour. Everything must be completed before the end of the hour, otherwise the mission will fail. Right off the bat, you have a unique element to the raid. You have a timer in which you need to complete something. The very first part of the raid would start off with the Interceptors versus a Goliath tank in a unique fashion. Not the way we have right now in the strike mission on Cerberus 5. You'll be chasing Goliath tanks on a set path with 6 Interceptors trying to destroy them as vehicles. Unlike the Interceptors in the Strike and Patrol, in that one you could just sit back and snipe and kill the Goliath tank without ever jumping in an Interceptor. In this one, the Goliath tanks are driving away from you the whole time. You will need your Interceptor to follow them. Using a Sparrow and jumping off that motherfucker and trying to use weapons, not going to do enough damage, only the tanks will work. If you try to use your Sparrow, jump off of it and try and snipe with your Icebreaker, eventually the Goliath tank is going to run past you and you're going to have to hop back on the Sparrow and go all over again. So with the Interceptor, you're basically moving the whole time, trying to hit a moving target before it reaches its final destination. See, something brand new, something unique, something that we haven't seen in the game before, and it uses the resources we already have with the 2 vehicles that were already in the game. Now the next phase of the raid will be to get codes from 2 captains of the Cabal, but you have to split the team up in order to get these codes. Each captain will have 4 digits to the code, while a 3rd location will hold the sequence in which the codes need to be entered. Essentially, you will need to split the team up into 3 separate parties, probably of 2 players each or whatever the fuck. You could obviously mix and match whatever you want to do in order to get the codes and the sequence in which the codes need to be entered. Now, every single time you play this game, the codes are going to be randomized. So you're not going to know, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 is on this side, 5, 6, 7, 8 is on this side, and I know the same entry to do it, so basically I just have to get to the end. No. Each time you go in there, the code is going to be randomized, it's going to be different, and the decipher is going to be different, which requires all 3 teams of smaller parties to do their parts to get that part of the code. Failure to get it right means you will have to do it all over again. And again, the raid is still under that 1 hour time limit, so your time is essentially limited to how many failures you can have in one shot. Now the final part of the raid is something that really hasn't been done in Destiny before, but we've seen elements of it. Now, as I mentioned before, the PlayStation exclusive strike mission, the Dust Palace, has a unique boss at the end. Instead of just a bullet sponge, they decided to add 3 scions, each with different elemental powers. You needed to have arc damage, you needed to have void, and solar to basically break through their shields in order to kill them quicker. Now, granted, you could kill them without having that elemental damage, but having that elemental damage with you allows you to kill them a lot quicker. Let's expand upon that. It's the best idea they had when it came to the strike missions, so let's now apply it to the raid. For the most part, our classes are essentially by preference. You can take a Hunter, Warlock, or Titan because you want to, not because you need to. But in the end of this mission, you will need each character. To defeat the finale, there will be a puzzle that will require each one of the 6 superpowers to be performed, thus requiring the team to have either one of each of the 6 subclasses or have someone who can manage to switch between the 2 superpowers very quickly. The finale will require each one of the 6 powers, from the Ward of Dawn, your Titan Smash, or Fist of Havoc, whatever you want to call that bullshit, Golden Gun, Blade Dancer, Nova Bomb, and Radiance. Now, the details would obviously need to be worked out in this motherfucker, but the concept would be that the finale will involve some sorts of puzzle, and at certain points, you will need to activate that specific superpower. Whether or not the Water Dawn is to protect your entire team, or whether or not it's to unlock something, who knows? But each one of those 6 powers will have to be activated in order to beat the final part of the game. Now, let's say the inevitable happens down the road and we add the 3rd subclass. Each one of the characters gets that final class that it seems like we're going to get. Well, now that makes the finale just a little bit more challenging now, doesn't it? Players will have to find a way to switch between subclasses out at the end to defeat the final challenge. Now, based on when you actually get that new subclass, it may or may not occur before this action strike mission, but for the most part, let's just say you need the 6 original superpowers. By having a team of 6 people, ideally, you would want to have one of each kind of subclass. That way, when it comes time to activate this puzzle or use this puzzle, each one of those players will have the superpower ready to go based on what they need. Yes, your Blade Dancer will now be required. Yes, your Titan Smash will now be required. Your Nova Bomb will be required. All those little bits and pieces that weren't required in the prior raids will now be required in this raid, because it takes the idea from the Dust Palace idea that we had to have one of each elemental damages. There, Bungie, a brand new fucking idea that you can easily implement to make your goddamn raids and strikes a little bit better. Honestly, the list of ideas can go on and on and on about how to fix this repetitive shit. Because after all, do you really want to keep playing the same bullshit over and over and over again? Do you really want to keep playing the same bullshit over and over and over again? Do you really want to keep playing the same bullshit over and over and over again? Do you really want to keep playing the same bullshit over and over and over again? Okay, I'll stop. But the point is, so much more could be done with the game, yet it's not. Destiny could be the game that made it seem like it was and fix all the repetitive shit, and the missions are the easiest fucking part to do that. So hopefully with the next DLC pack, Bungie learns their fucking lesson. They give us more than just scanning something with Dinkle Cunt and shooting enemies, and they finally learn that we want variety. We don't just want more of the same shit, we want different shit. We want better shit. We want unique mechanics, unique gameplay that makes it look like Destiny isn't just a copy and paste since the very beginnings. Anyways, 3 videos down, I still have plenty of more ideas to go, so as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. As always, rate, comment, subscribe. Alright, I'm gonna stop with that bullshit now, and I'll see you guys in the next BluePrint video.